Wagwan family, welcome to Black Blood Voices podcast, where we all about spreading peace and light through meaningful conversations. I'm your host, Raj Jaffe Judah, man, coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee. All right, man. Today on this show, I got DRON ALEXANDER, y'all. Man, welcome to the podcast, big homie.
Man, what's up with it, man? I appreciate you for having me. It's been a long time waiting. We supposed to been got this done, but we here now, so let's make it pop.
Man, that part, man. You have been very, very busy, bro, in these last fucking few years, man. You feel me? So we gonna definitely got a lot to catch up. Where can people follow you on Instagram?
You want to follow me on any type of social media platform. First of all, Instagram, DRON.ALEXANDER. That's DRON.ALEXANDER. TikTok, practically the same thing. Facebook, the same thing. On Oh Nobody, and I ain't ducking nobody. So all my names is the same on all social media platforms. Get at me. Put in DRON ALEXANDER, the algorithm gonna help you out. Follow me, get at your boy.
That part, man. So today, man, I really wanted to, bring you on the show, man, and just let people get an introduction to DRON ALEXANDER and who the wushu master is, right? Man, so let's start with the basics. Man, where you from and how did you land in Nashville, Tennessee doing what you do now?
First of all, right, so I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's the murder capital. Ain't nothing to brag about, but it is what it is. That's where I'm from. How I landed in Nashville, Tennessee is the string of events that I won't get too deep into, but I spent a lot of my life in West Tennessee. So I'm not new to Tennessee. Tennessee is a part of who I am. Spent a lot of time in Brownsville, Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee, and Memphis, Tennessee. When I did my second stint in federal prison, after I went to Memphis, things didn't work out with the person I was down there with. I decided to make my way to Middle Tennessee, Nashville, the whole Middle Tennessee area, because that's where my son was. I needed to be a father, needed to do things that I needed to do to really stand on, what I say I stand on. So I made my way to Middle Tennessee to be here with my son, and I've been here since 2019. So that's how I got up here.
Wow, man. So you said, I want to take it back a little bit. You said your second stint.
Yeah.
Tell us what that was like. What was that like? Your second stint, how did you get involved? Will you say you was a street nigga, or would you not say you was a street nigga? Like, how do you identify with that?
When it comes to street nigga versus, just a dude in the streets, I thought about it for a long time. I feel like I'm more of a nigga that was in the streets versus a street nigga. So, let me break that down.
Okay.
So I grew up in Colony North Projects in North County, St. Louis. It's in Jennings. Colony North, the person that built Colony North is the same person that built the Cabrini Greens projects in Chicago, Illinois. Colony North was a very, very dangerous area in St. Louis, especially back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But I was a victim of my circumstances, but I can't say I was a product of my environment, because early on in my life, my elders started getting it together. Whether it be my mom's, my grandmother, they started getting shit together early in my life. So although I spent a significant amount of my childhood in the projects, it wasn't the majority amount. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily consider myself a street nigga, but I consider myself a person that's associated with the streets, if you can follow me, a little bit on that. You see what I'm saying?
Indeed. Oh, indeed. I believe the ones who are from that cloth are going to really understand where you're coming from. And, the ones who probably don't come from that cloth are going to have to do a little bit more searching and digging. But, yeah, I understand. I believe there is a difference between a street nigga and a nigga in the streets. Because, a street nigga is somebody, or a street, person, is somebody who is, wherever they got their gun, where they roam is their home. You know what I'm saying? And it's something of a consistent effort intentionally to be involved with.
I feel like a street nigga is a person. I feel like street nigga is a person's identity.
Okay.
Like, I don't identify with the streets. You see what I'm saying? I was just a nigga that was in them. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of the things that I went through in my life, and just keeping it a buck, was self-inflicted. A lot of things a lot of my hardships in my life, I didn't have to go through. You know what I'm saying? I did certain things that put me in positions that have to make me overcome certain hurdles. Like I said, like my moms and my grandmas and my auntie and them, they got it together early in my life. Don't get me wrong, like my mama come from poverty too. You know what I'm saying? Like we grew up in the projects, like I say, Colony North. We grew up in the projects, but at the same time, my moms, my aunties, my grandma, they got they life together early on in my life. So a lot of the things that I went through as I got older was, like I said, was self-inflicted. You feel what I'm saying? Like, my mom's got off of welfare at an extremely young age in my life. You feel what I'm saying? Don't change the fact that I came from that, but a lot of the things that I put myself into, a lot of that shit was self-inflicted. A lot of that shit was, you know what I'm saying, like, because I felt like, you know, like, this is a part of who I was. I was influenced by older generations and all that shit, but at the end of the day, if I had kept myself together, I wouldn't have had to go through half of the shit that I put myself through.
Facts.
And that's why me and my mom to this day we like this, because I don't blame her for majority of the shit that I went through, because I put myself through it.
Man, that takes hey, I want to applaud you, bro, because that seems like you have obtained a level of self-awareness
and accountability.
Yeah. How did you, you know, get to this space, man, of being in tune with yourself the way you are now?
One of the best questions you could ever ask me. What got me to where I am now, that made me self-aware and have accountability, was my second stint in the penitentiary. So I've been to both the state and the feds. When I went to the feds, it kind of fucked me up because I don't want to say brainwashed because I'm a free thinker, but for lack of better terminology, I'm going to say that. Brainwashed through the laws of the streets, the G code, no snitching, all that type of shit. So I'm under the impression that my friends think the way that I do. You know what I'm saying? We got a code that we live by. We do things a certain type of way according to the G code. And once I realized that the G code was fake, is when I started looking in the mirror. My brother, my older brother, you know what I'm saying, like one of my mentors. And honestly, I'm one of his mentors. Facts. We like each other mentor.
Facts.
But he kind of put something in my head one day. He was like, yo, bro, you in the streets, right? As a street dude, what's your number one objective? Most street niggas can't answer that question. Get money, criminal, whoop-de-whoop. No, your number one objective as a street dude is an outlaw. Your whole ideology is to break rules. So how are you following rules in an area that rules are supposed to be broken? You feel what I'm saying? And when he said that shit to me, and I was in the feds, it made me, you know what I'm saying, like recalibrate my whole way of thinking. I was like, well, damn. If I'm supposed to be an outlaw, how the fuck am I following laws? Like, my whole thing is break the white man law. He said, don't rob a bank, I rob a bank. He said, don't sell drugs, I sell drugs. Don't shoot people, I shoot people. Yet I've let a group of individuals convince me to follow their laws. But I'm an outlaw. How the fuck am I following laws and I'm an outlaw? You feel what I'm saying?
Indeed.
So once I came to the realization that I'm supposed to be a rule breaker, it made me look in the mirror and look at myself, and made me like question every fucking thing I've ever believed in. Not just street shit, religious, political, economical. Like, who the fuck are you? What the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you believe in God? Somebody told me to. I'm not an atheist. Let's get that out there right. Why do you believe in Jesus? Somebody told me to. Why do I believe in, you know, the street law? A nigga told me to. Why do I believe in not snitching? A nigga told me to. Why do I believe in revenge? A nigga told me to. You feel what I'm saying? It made me look in the mirror. Not only did it question my beliefs, but it also made me question my decisions. I remember one time I was standing in front of a group of dudes, and I remember one time it was some cats, right? And they was trying to get at me. Young dude, I was maybe 9, 10 years old, trying to get at me, talking shit. You know what I'm saying? They were finna beat me up. And I ran. You know, it was too many of them. I couldn't fight them all. And I ran. And I justified that. Like, I couldn't beat them all. It was too many of them. But in truth, like in real life truth, I was a coward in that moment. You gotta take that ass whooping. You stand on your belief, nigga. You're a real nigga, right? You're a gangster nigga, street nigga, thug nigga, whatever you consider yourself, no matter how many of them it is.
Facts.
You gotta fight, nigga.
Facts. You
stand there and you fight until you can't fight no more.
Facts.
But I didn't know that as a kid. You feel what I'm saying? So I take off running. Too many of them, I get them another day. Some people might consider that smart. But when you're talking about your pride and your identity as a street nigga,
right?
Nah, bro, you gotta take that ass whooping. You gotta get your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? If not, if you take off running, no matter how many it is, if you don't stand your ground and stand on what you believe in, you a coward. And I justified my cowardness because of what I believed in. But after I went through what I went through, I looked in the mirror and I started judging myself. Fuck what other people think about me. I gotta judge myself first. In this particular situation, you was a coward, my nigga. You ran. No matter how many dudes you was, you ran. And when I started understanding myself and started calling myself out on my own bullshit, is when I started understanding the world around me.
Man, true that. The more you understood yourself, the more you understood others.
Couldn't understand the world until I understood myself.
So what would you say is the biggest difference? Like, state, you say you've been a state penitentiary and you've been a federal. Like, what would you say is like the biggest difference? Or is it a big difference? Is it a difference?
It is. It's a very big difference. On the state level versus the federal level, when it comes to the penitentiary, in the state is more of a free fall. Most of them dudes in the states know each other. Most of them dudes have street beefs. Most of them dudes know each other, cousins, and most of them dudes related. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the feds, it's more racially driven. So I'm gonna give you an example. When you come to the feds, when you walk through the door, a group of niggas gonna walk up to you. Bro, where you from? I'm from Tennessee. I'm from Missouri. I'm from New York. I'm from California. Woo-doo-woo. Do you gang bang? I'm a blood. I'm a crip. I'm a GD. I'm a vice lord. They gonna direct you to your crew. Your peoples is over there. You feel what I'm saying? They gonna direct you to your crew. When you get to your crew, whether you want to be in a gang car or a state, because everybody don't gang bang. Some niggas is just street niggas that just ain't in a gang. That happens. So they're gonna direct you to your crew. When you get to your crew, you're gonna tell your crew, bro, I'm such and such. I'm from such and such. I'm SB. I'm from St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? I'm BG. I'm from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get you to your crew. Your crew gonna tell you, all right, look, bro, you got 30 days to get your paperwork. They don't do that in the state. Paperwork ain't really a thing in the state. That's more of a federal thing.
Right.
In the paperwork, a lot of people get the paperwork misconstrued. The paperwork is just simply to make sure you didn't rat on nobody and to make sure you ain't a sex offender. The two biggest things when you're dealing with the feds versus the state. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with the state, the paperwork ain't really a big thing because 9 times out of 10 is somebody in there that know you. And if they don't know you, know your homeboy, know where you from, know your crew, they know something. You know what I'm saying?
More local.
It's more local. You know what I'm saying? The state, the federal prison is more politically ringing. You feel what I'm saying? Because they got, like, it's real political. Like, so for example, I'm a regular nigga. I'm in a Tennessee car. I don't gang bang. I'm just a street nigga who get money. I'm in a Tennessee car, Michigan car, California, whatever state you want to put on it. I can't do business with another race or a dude from another state without approval from my heads. In a state, you can get away with that because there ain't different states in the state. Everybody ain't from Tennessee. Everybody from Georgia. Everybody from Florida. You can get away with that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? You know a nigga from, so I'm going to give, since we in Tennessee, I'm going to give a Tennessee example. Say I'm a Knoxville nigga. I want to do business with a Memphis nigga. And we can do that shit, no problem. Ain't nobody going to trip off that type of shit. Like, he can sell me weed, I can buy from him, tattoos, tobacco, whatever. But say we in the feds, and I'm a Knoxville or Nashville nigga, and I want to do business with a Michigan nigga. Depending on the level of that business, I kind of got to go to my head and be like, hey, bro, you need to go to his head and see if we can, if I can do business with this dude. And that's just state to state. When you're dealing with, when you crossing races, it get even more dynamic because what I learned from the feds in the state, the feds is way more relaxed than the state. But once the line get crossed, it get way more dangerous than the state. Because once lines is crossed, especially racial lines, especially dealing with the essays. When I say essays, I mean Latinos.
Okay. When
you're dealing with Latinos in the feds, the Latinos are outnumbered by blacks, outnumber everybody. The blacks are the king. You know what I'm saying? But the difference, but where the blacks lack the level of violence that the essays got. And the essays keep that level of violence because that's all they got. They don't got the numbers, unless there's something on the West Coast. You're in Arizona, California, Oregon, essays run that shit. But strictly in the majority spots, Midwest, South, East Coast, essays don't got no numbers like that. They got to keep their level of violence high. If you dealing with an essay and the line and the racial lines get crossed, and it's time to go to the to battle, to the war zone, they're going to be extremely more violent than what you would think. Essays gonna stab you. They too small, and I ain't not knocking on essays because I rock with a gang of them motherfuckers, but just keeping it a buck. Most of the essays are small, they're short, they're not as strong as the blacks or the whites. they're going to stay. They're going to take a level of violence you ain't used to.
Damn.
If you ain't accustomed to getting no blade put on, don't fuck with the essays. Because that's the one route they're going to go is to a level of violence you're not used to. That's all they got. They don't got the numbers. On the West Coast, they do. West Coast is different. But in the Midwest, South, East Coast, they don't got the numbers. So the only thing they got to go in their favor is a level of violence that a nigga like me and you ain't used to.
What's the craziest thing you ever seen in state penitentiary or federal penitentiary that you are, able to discuss with the people?
The craziest thing I've ever seen in prison, I would say it was state and fed. I'm going to equate them equally.
Okay.
So state is when I went to Northwest. Northwest, at the time I got there, they had a ban on bloods. I'm a Pyru. If anybody that knows Skyline Pyru, I don't gang bang no more, but I never renounced my membership. So at the end of the day, I'm a blood. It is what it is. I don't go to meetings. I don't participate in gang activities, but it's a part of my identity. It is what it is. Fuck it. So when I got to Northwest, I had never seen a real life ban on a gang. So when I got there, they told me, bro, you a blood. You can't walk the compound. Damn. Like, what the fuck does that mean? You mean I can't be at this jail? And they was like, yeah. So when I got there, and I got a lot of Crip friends, so I always show love to the Crips, and they showed that shit. It was like, bro, you Pyro? I was like, yeah. It's like, we finna show you. And I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Damn. And just keeping it a buck, them Crip niggas, they did everything they were supposed to do as Crips. They got at me. They jumped on me. They took my shit. They did everything they were supposed to do as Crips. If the roles were reversed, I'm pretty sure the Bloods would have done the same thing. So,
hell yeah.
In an area where I'm outnumbered,
that comes with the territory.
Exactly. It comes with the territory. If you gang bang, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You signed up for this shit.
Right.
And the Crips did everything they were supposed to do to show me, nigga, Bloods can't be here. They took, you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of my shit back, but they got on me though. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keeping it a buck. I don't win every match. I don't win every round. I don't win every war. I lost that one by a lot. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of fucked me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a blood nigga who was on a compound, I'm like, damn, I'm literally alone. Because as a gangbanger, your whole thing is you're not alone. You got homies everywhere. That's what you gang bang for. It's for the camaraderie.
Right. At
this particular point in this penitentiary, I never felt so alone because I was alone. You feel what I'm saying? And I felt that loneliness. You know what I'm saying? I was absent of their camaraderie, and I felt it. Flipping over to the state, flipping over to the feds. The feds' politics is what I felt the most. So we got into a situation at this particular penitentiary. I was in Big Sandy in Kentucky. Everybody knows it's one of the most dangerous prisons in literally America. They call it Big Bloody, Big Stabby, a lot of different nicknames. And at that particular time, I was in a South car. I've been in Tennessee down there my whole life.
So your affiliation didn't even matter at the time in the feds. It was more so about where you was from.
If you associate yourself, like, so once you get in the car, that's damn near your gang.
Wow.
So I didn't get in a blood car because I had just got into, I guess it was a bullshit with the Bloods. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just do some state shit. So when I got to Big Sandy, I got into the South car.
Wow.
So now your affiliation is irrelevant.
Damn.
If you are South, like the South, and that Big Sandy, I believe it consists of the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Texas, any southern state. Your affiliation to a gang is irrelevant. You in the South car. So anything dealing with the South is the South. Now, this was the crazy part though. This is where it got twisted at. It was a Crip dude from Knoxville who, so this was the situation. A GD outside of the South car. This was a GD situation. Gangster Disciple, anybody know, growth and development, whatever you want to call it. They was violating one of their homeboys for some bullshit he did with their organization, whatever. We had a Crip dude the GD dude was from Knoxville. We had a Crip dude in our car that was also from Knoxville that knew this dude, had a personal relationship with him from the streets. And he got outside of the prison protocol because of his friend. Fuck the prison protocol. This my nigga.
Facts.
Like we gonna move the prison protocol, and I'm this personal now. And he involved himself. as a member of the South car, I have to involve myself. It's a South dude. We South is together. Kentucky, Carolinas, like I just said, we all together. So if he involved himself, I got to involve myself. So the South car, and it's crazy. You might as well be a gangbanger. No point of being in no state car. That's just stupid.
Right.
If you gangbang.
Right.
Do your thing. So and it was me and this cat from the and ironically, me and him was both Bloods, but he was a cat from the Carolinas. You know what I'm saying? And me and this dude was standing beside you. We both had knives on us, and I was like, we looked at each other. And in truth, I'm keeping it a buck. This is truth hour. I didn't want to involve myself with that because this was dumb.
Right.
This was a nigga from our car involving himself in something he had no business doing. That was a GD business. Let the GDs do what they do with their partner. Talk to them later. But he up knives, let him go, we finna die, everything. And I'm like, and it made me think like, that was the day I realized prison politics was stupid. I was like, we gotta get involved with this, don't we? And the blood nigga from Carolina was like, yeah, kind of got to. He didn't want to either. He didn't want to part of this bullshit. But we signed up for it though. We should have just stayed independent. So knives got up. Niggas got stabbed, we got stabbed, they got stabbed, riot, all that type of shit. We all got shipped to different penitentiaries. But that was a crazy moment because I had never been involved in anything that didn't have nothing to do with me. Because this nigga is a Crip. I'm a Blood.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm his ally. Because I decided to be a part of his gang. The South car, you can call it a car, and the day it's a gang.
Right.
I decided to associate myself with a Crip niggas gang, which was GDs, Vice Lords, BDs, everybody. You in the South, your gang affiliation is irrelevant. You a South nigga. You feel what I'm saying? And because I signed up for it, I'm gonna go on what I stand on, whether I agree with it or not. I can hate it, I can love it. And at this particular moment, I fucking hated it. I was like, this is dumb. We shouldn't be doing this. But it is what it is.
So, man, that's like terrible. You know what I'm saying? And shit, man, bro, salute for even coming out of that and wanting to be a better person, right? Because a lot of people can go through that and it can take a toll on their mental health. You know, how were you able to do so much time and like still channel your inner self? Like, what were your other outlets? You know what I'm saying? Like, what were you doing aside from beating niggas' asses in that motherfucker? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how did you cope with doing the time? What are some things that worked for you?
It was a number of things. So, but before I continue, I gotta say, I gotta like halfway correct you with beating niggas' ass because I got my ass beat too.
Well, true that.
I'm in there. I lost a lot of them. I won a lot of them. Don't get it twisted. But I gotta keep it a buck. I lost a gang of them motherfuckers. What kept me grounded and what kept me moving forward was a number of things. For one, I knew I didn't have life. I was getting out one day. You feel what I'm saying? That alone, especially I had a short out date. When I got to the feds, I didn't have about 18 months left. To a lot of people, that sounds like a lot of time. But to the federal prison, don't even talk to niggas. 18, you got a year and a half, man, you on your way out the door. That's what, because this nigga's in there with 100,000 years. One, I knew I was getting out. Two, I had something to go home to.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't going home to poverty. I wasn't going home to nothing. I wasn't going home to start from scratch. I had cars left over I hadn't sold. I had jewelry. I had a little bit of change. It was the first time in my life where I get to come home and not start from the bottom. To a degree, I kind of did, but not from everybody else's. My bottom was a lot higher than most niggas coming out the penitentiary. So it was the first time I was able to come home to something. I had a female to come home to. You know, I had a son. I hadn't had my second son yet, but I had a son to come home to who adored the fucking ground I walked on. You know, I had a lot to come home to. So knowing that this wasn't the end for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, that kept me grounded as far as learning. You know, I've read a bunch of books, Stock Market for Dummies, economic shit, you know what I'm saying? History shit. You know, I picked up a couple languages, you know, a little bit of Arabic, you know, Russian, ты говоришь по-русски или по-английски, just to let motherfuckers know I know that shit too, you know what I'm saying?
And what'd you just say?
You speak Russian or English. That's why every time I meet a Russian motherfucker, I say zdravstvuyte. Ty говоришь по-русски или по-английски. That's saying, hello, how are you doing? Do you speak Russian or English? Because if they can speak English, I'm gonna speak English because my Russian ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
But picked up a couple different languages, read a bunch of books. The fact that I knew I was going home a lot sooner than most, and I had something to go home to, it kind of kept me grounded. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the prison politics and the shit that I was involved in, shit that I was doing, and to be honest, my second stint in prison, which was my federal stint, it was a lot more relaxed than my first stint. And the reason why, I had built up a reputation already. My first stint in prison, I was 19. I was a kid. I was mad at the world. I didn't feel like I felt like I had been bamboozled, and you know what I'm saying. So I went in there fighting and stabbing and doing everything I was supposed to do. But my second stint in prison, I was a little older, had a reputation already, had some rank inside the gang. It was a lot more relaxed. You know what I'm saying? But knowing I had something to go home to is what kept me grounded.
Man, and staying grounded like that, bro. Like, were you able to? So, like, how did you like get into what you're doing now, as far as writing the books? Because you wrote a book, didn't you?
Couple of them.
Couple of them. When did you write those books?
Man, look, I'm gonna tell you what's so crazy about my book writing. So, I wrote the very first book I ever wrote. I haven't published yet. It's still at the crib. Like, I just found it. It's still at the crib. What made me start writing books, outside of writing books, what drives me to progress is my ego. And this is gonna sound bullshit, but it's my truth. I feel like I'm better than you. I feel like I'm smarter than you. I feel like I know more than you do. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what makes me progress. If I'm really smarter than you, if I'm really better than you, if I really know more than you, I got to be able to do more than you. You see what I'm saying? So when I started reading books, and I really like honed in on especially urban literature, I read this shit and I was like, this is our life. Like, everybody went through this. I ain't special. You ain't special. We know 100 niggas who went through what we reading right now. You feel what I'm saying? I got a hell of a story, and you do too. I got a hell of a story, and so does this nigga right here. I got a hell of a story. So does this nigga. And my story ain't no more deeper, ain't no more pathetic, ain't no more heart wrenching. My story ain't no better than I know 1,000 niggas who went through more than what I went through. Yep. You feel what I'm saying? So when I read these books, I'm like, I can do this. I know I got a story better than this. You feel what I'm saying? My ego drove me. I'm better than the nigga who wrote this book. You feel what I'm saying?
What was the first book you ever published?
The first book I ever published was When Worlds Collide by DRON ALEXANDER. This motherfucker right here. And I'm going to tell you what's so crazy about this book. This book did really good. But this book is actually a spinoff. It's not the first book I wrote. This is the second book I wrote. When you read this book, you will hear a character's name that I won't say. But the character that you hear in this book, you don't get introduced to that character until the end of the book. The character that you get introduced to is the actually first book I've ever wrote about that character. Just haven't published it yet. You'll get it one day. Haven't published it yet. But this was the first book that I ever published when Worlds Collide. And to give you just like a brief synopsis, it's about a chick that went through some shit, ran into another nigga who went through some shit. They came together to live happily ever after, and their past caught up with them. That's everybody's story. Everybody knows somebody that went through that type of shit. But this was the first book I ever wrote. And what made me write books was my ego. I can do this. Everything that I do, whether it be me being a productive father, whether it me being a productive person in my community, whether it me being a good son, a good brother, a good uncle, my ego, I'm better than you. You ain't better than me. So if you doing something good and I ain't doing it, it's because I ain't chose to. You feel what I'm saying? I'm better than you. And you should feel like you better than me.
Right.
So we could push each other.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Yeah.
So, man, do you think ego is good or bad for people?
It's both. Depending on how you use it. Because ego can be to your detriment. Because ego can go into a level of conceitedness. I can feel like I'm better than you and just be good with that. Relax. Fuck this nigga, I'm better than him. But I can also have a level of ego where I feel like I'm better than you, but I gotta prove it though. I have to be better than you. I have to be. Say I feel like I'm better than you, and you're a multimillionaire. I'm not a multimillionaire. I gotta become a multimillionaire to be better than you. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's productive ego, because that helps me become who I feel like I am in my mind. But if I'm just a nigga who's saying I'm better than you, but in truth I'm not better than you, that's detrimental.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. So what you're saying is, or am I hearing it right when you say like basically your ego can be something positive if you use it to be in a line with the action?
Yeah, absolutely. It gotta be.
Okay.
If it's not, it's not positive. You just a nigga who think you better than niggas just because. You just a bitch ass nigga, really. Catch that fade.
Cake ass nigga.
Cake ass nigga. Come on, man. Smack water. Girl, look, you gotta put this in there. Man, shout out to Smack Water, man.
Cake ass
nigga, man.
So, man, let's talk a little bit more about the book, man. When Worlds Collide. Is that the only book you ever written, or do you like how far have you gone with the book writing?
No, man. When Worlds Collide was the first one I published.
Okay.
In total, I've written a total of 5 books. I've only published 2.
Wow.
Actually, I've written a total of 6 books. I've only published 2. When Worlds Collide was my first published, and the reason why it was my first published because that was the biggest romance story I had. And this may sound like some fuck shit, but I played on the emotions of women. It is what it is. Every woman likes a romance story. When Worlds Collide was my most romantic story that I have. The first book I wrote, Red Corleone, which is the character I talked about in the first book, his book was just about his story. How he went from a privileged kid to a gangster. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of romance in it, but the story was really surrounded by his gangsterism. When Worlds Collide was surrounded by romance, 2 people falling in love and having to decide, having to come to a decision, do you pick love over circumstance? See what I'm saying? And then I wrote Polo and Cash, which is a short story, which is also surrounded by romance, but it's more dealing with pretty much just a situation type of thing. And then I got the story that I'm writing right now, which is astronomically outside of my typical way of writing. So I typically write urban romance. That's my lane. That's what I'm comfortable with. But this particular story, The Hidden Key, is about an orphan kid who finds out that he's a descendant of the ancient Anunnaki. If you're familiar with Egyptology or anything revolving around Kemet, then you know the Anunnaki are the old gods of Egypt: Ra, Horus, Horus, Isis, Anubis, like the old gods of Egypt. He's a descendant of one of those beings. You know what I'm saying? And he finds out that not only is he a descendant and he possesses the abilities of the old gods of Egypt, but he's being hunted by the Vatican Church because his genetic DNA unlocks the mysteries of the universe. It talks about the buildings of the pyramids. It talks about the Big Bang Theory. Like everything that's associated with his genetic coding tells you everything you need to know about the universe. So that's pretty much what that book. That's why he's called The Hidden Key. He's one of one. So that's more of the realm of a fantasy novel, like a Game of Thrones or Harry Potter type book. You know what I'm saying? But it's still urban literature. Black people involved. It's a lot of the African diaspora is associated with it. And I think it's going to be a good read.
How do you balance, man? You know, because you're a very diverse individual.
I got to ask you a question.
All right. So how do you balance, you know, your personal life with the professional life? Like, because, man, you got a lot going on. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're a viral sensation. You're an author. Man, you're just an overall visionary. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you balance all of what you do and still be able to maintain, you know, your creative spunk?
I'm a hell of a motherfucker.
You're a hell of a motherfucker.
I'm a hell of a motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it a buck though.
Yeah.
When it comes to balancing it all, it's easy, but it's hard. What makes it hard is me being a father. That's what makes it hard, because like content to me is more outside of the comedy skits. Comedy skits is just something I like to have fun with. But as far as like when I do my voiceovers, like with my son, you know what I'm saying, like a story or something in a reel or in one of my social medias, is more of documenting. And this what makes it easy, is because I document my life and the things that I go through because I want to inspire. You know what I'm saying? I'm a single father that raised 2 kids on his own. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I'm not by myself. My mom's helped me. My mother is the foundation of everything, because she helps me so much with my youngest, my oldest. Like, my mother has been, I took my mother through so much shit. Like, I'm talking, I was the worst little nigga. Like, I was the worst kid anybody could have asked for. And my mother never turned her back on me. You know what I'm saying? And she justifiably could have. I'm sick of this little motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And she never did. So my mother is to this day, is a big, you know, like crutch that I got. You know
what I'm saying? Team, yeah.
Yeah. She is the team. Fuck right. Part of it. No, she is the team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Bless up.
But I do more. So I say that the balance comes from more of a document. Like, if I'm just documenting my life, it's easy, because I'm just showing you what I'm doing, showing you what I'm going through, showing you what I'm overcoming. You feel what I'm saying? Is if I'm putting something together outside, like it's associated with my creativity, then it becomes a little more complex, because now I'm trying to make you laugh, or I'm trying to inspire, or I'm trying to make you smile, or hell, I'm trying to piss you off. I'm a troll at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do it all. So the balance, I would say, is easy yet hard at times, because when it comes to balance and shit, you gotta understand. First and foremost, I got a lot of different identities. You know what I'm saying? I'm a son. I'm a father. I'm a brother. I'm an uncle. I'm a gangbanger. I'm an ex-con. I'm a hard worker. You feel what I'm saying? I got a lot of hats. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and then I just
That's just a few. That's just a few.
This is a few.
Yeah,
I'm an author. You know what I'm saying? I'm a content creator. I'm a comedian. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wear these motherfuckers daily. So to a degree, it's easy. I'm easily a brother. Me and my brothers is tight. You know what I'm saying? I'm easily a son. You know, now that I'm better than what I was, man, my mama tight. You know what I'm saying? I'm easily a father. I fucking love my kids. Right. I'm gonna be there for them. You feel what I'm saying? I'm easily a hard worker, because I gotta take care of them. That ain't hard for me to hard work, because if I don't, they don't eat. You feel what I'm saying? They don't survive. They don't be better than me. That's easy. You feel what I'm saying? I'm easily a comedian, because I'm easily a funny motherfucker. Everything that a motherfucker, this interview is a comedy skit to me. You feel what I'm saying? Everything I do is comedy. So a lot of things I wear easily. So as far as the balance, a lot of it come easily. At the same time, it's some difficulties there, because a lot of times I think, man, when you get to thinking and getting outside of your normality or getting outside of your personality, man, that shit it turn into a job versus just your personality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when it get to turn into a job, that's where the difficulty come in at. When you're I'm trying to make you laugh now. I come up with a status, or I come up with a skit that this gonna make them laugh, versus this is just how I feel today. If it's just how I feel today, man, that shit easy. But if I like, you know what, this gonna make them laugh. That's the difficulty. Because if they don't laugh, I'm pissed. If they do laugh, I'm pissed. Fuck them. You know what I'm
saying? Man, so where you at right now, man? At the moment, with this interview, you're at 19,000 followers, and your largest visual is 12 million views.
12 million point what?
12 million. 12 million point 6.
Shit, I'm almost at 13. Goddamn.
Man, like, what did it feel like to go viral? And like, how have you been using this moment to help you go to the next level?
Man, I'm glad you asked me that. That's a hell of a question. And the reason why is because I kind of gradually got to it. So check it. Let me give you the rundown. So when I first started like getting involved with like social media, like realistically, what got me really fucking with the visual side of it was first it was people telling me I had it in me. Like, bro, you should make videos, you should make content, comedy skit. I don't know shit about that. I'm a nigga fresh out the penitentiary. Like, what does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? And then I seen a video. I seen an interview with Desi Banks. And Desi Banks and him and Country Wayne. I watched both their interviews. And they talked about how much money that they made off social media. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I don't want to misquote nobody, but I believe it was one of them said they made like 200,000 in a month. And I was like, bullshit. Like, really? You know what I did? I Googled that shit. I just fucking Googled it. Like, I went on YouTube. Like, how do you make money off Facebook? How do you make money off Instagram? I don't know nothing about this stuff. But I learned at the end of that smartphone, motherfucker.
Facts.
So I looked at like 10, 15 videos. And I'm not just saying that loosely. I literally looked at 10, maybe 15 videos learning about monetizing social media. And I was like, damn, these dudes really are making this type of bread. So that's what got me initially into recording myself, doing funny shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so my most viral video, it kind of led up to it. So my first viral video was 1,000 views. I was like, when I post a video, I would get like 50 views for like months. And I was like, damn, maybe I don't got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I ain't as funny as I think I am. This shit funny to me. Obviously ain't funny to other motherfuckers. And then I had a video that did like 1,000 views. And I was like, that, no bullshit, 1,000 views felt viral to me. I was like, damn, 1,000 people? They like this. Like, oh shit.
And this is coming from a guy who got millions of views now.
You know what I'm saying? But in hindsight, like 1,000 views was like, what? 1,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, I'm famous. That's what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got a video that did 26,000 views. Bro, I could not explain to you what 26,000 views felt like to a nigga who only had like 80 followers. You know what I'm saying? Like 26,000 views. I was like, bro, I made it. I'm here now. I'm up there with the greats. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
then I realized 26,000 views wasn't shit. And then I had another video that did 130,000. But once I crossed into the 100,000 mark, you couldn't tell me I wasn't famous.
Man.
Like, nigga, like 100K? Man, go talk to my agent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I thought I had made it. So 100,000, I had 130 some thousand views. But when I looked at the like I said, I looked at a bunch of YouTube videos. So when I found out how to see where the video was like viewed, the motherfucker had got a gang of views in the Middle East. And I was like, oh, fucking terrorists? Like, what the fuck happened? Like, how did so many people from Pakistan see my video?
Wow.
So then I went back to square one, like, I ain't viral. And then that shit happened out of nowhere. So should I go into deep like what? I'm gonna just say this. I went to Atlanta. I got a Airbnb. I was courting this my ex, and we got a crib together. Well, we got a crib just to kick it in for the weekend. And before because it took us some hours. She was coming from Florida, so I had got there hours before she did, and I just started shooting a bunch of shit, bunch of videos I had like logged into my notes and shit. I was like, let me just shoot these motherfuckers. I'm by myself, and I shot one of them and. When I shot the video, it got like 5,000 views. And I didn't think shit of it, like, and 1 million. It don't mean shit to me. And I posted it, like 5,000 views. I didn't think shit of it. And I looked up the next, like maybe 2 days later, it was like 100,000. I was like, oh shit, my video taking off 100,000. I'm back at 100,000 again, you know what I'm saying? But so fucking what? You know what I'm saying? That don't mean nothing to me. And then it was like 200, and then 300, then it hit 1 million. I was like, 1 million people looked at me? Damn. Like 1 million people? Like what the fuck? Like, bro, I'm nobody. I'm just a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel. I'm just a nigga from around the way. And I was like, damn, 1 million people. Bro, it couldn't have been 2 hours later. That motherfucker was at 2 million. I was like, there's no fucking way 2 million people looking at me. But I had like maybe 100 followers. Within like a day, it was at like 900. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, bro, I couldn't even wrap my mind around it. I was like damn, 1,000 people clicked my page, you know what I'm saying, because of this video. That was nothing. It was just me dancing with a drink. And I'm like, so one of my exes, which is a famous person, you know what I'm talking about, but I ain't gonna say her name, but she reached out to me and she was like, I came across your video. And I was like, yeah. I was like, so what I need to do? So she kind of gave me a rundown on like how to monetize it and, you know, make some bread off of it. And I make a shit ton of money off of it. And dude, that motherfucker went to 3 million. I was like, dude, ain't no way. Like, what the fuck? But by the time they got to 5 million, I may have been in like maybe 4,000 followers. But this is a person that's a nobody. Don't get me wrong. I get down in the streets. I made a shit ton of money in the streets. But that's not global to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I made 100 racks. I had $100,000 cash. But I'm looking at niggas who millionaires in Nashville, like Memphis and Jackson. I know niggas, and I ain't gonna never say their names, but I know niggas who got $1 million. You feel what I'm saying? For $100,000, bro, I'm a big fish in a small pond to me. Like this ain't no money. It's some money, but they better than me. I gotta be the best because I feel like I'm better. Them dudes ain't smarter than me. How them dudes making $1 million? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So 100,000 in the streets ain't nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? Which in truth is something, but just me in my mind.
Right.
And so, bro, when I got to like 5-10 million views with that social media shit, I was like, I always try to stay humble. So I'm trying to rationalize, is it me? Is it the sound? Is it the combination? Because you can't convince me, bro, that 12 million people like me. Can't convince me. I ain't never been shit my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was in the streets thugging, I had cars, the jewelry, like all that shit. I never felt like I was nothing, bro. Big Meech bigger than me. You see what I'm saying? He the greatest. You feel what I'm saying? Like niggas in my city bigger than me. Niggas outside of town bigger than me. Like I ain't the greatest. I'm trying to be better than them, but it's 12 million people that like me. It's fake.
So what do you think sets you apart from other people?
Originality. I don't follow the trend. Fuck them.
Okay.
Like don't get me wrong. I use the trending sound from time to time if I want to, but majority of my videos that go mega viral is just me. Voiceover, to me talking shit, me and my son, me and my moms, because I took my mama skydiving, that motherfucker got a gang of views. Like it's just originality. I don't give a fuck about how you feel about me. Even with me having a shit ton of followers, I still don't give a fuck. Bitch, at the end of the day, I gotta take care of my kids. Like when I cut this phone off, at the end of the day, and I ain't on social media no more, my son's still right here. Both of them. My mom's still right here, so I don't give a fuck about how you feel. That's why I talk the shit that I talk. Like, bitch,
right.
You don't affect my real life. I'm the shit in real life. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. How do you approach failure and setbacks in your entrepreneurial journey?
I need it. Man, look, I wouldn't be hungry if I didn't have failure. If everything went according to the way I wanted it to, bro, I'd be content in a motherfucker. Because I'd just be sitting back like, let me think of some shit. And then it work. I think of some more shit tomorrow. Nah, bro, I need that failure, bro. Like failure, and I ain't gonna lie, bro, I hate that shit. Like failure fuck with me. Like I'd be like, damn, bro, I thought this was the one. I'd be like, I put my bread into it, put my all into it, and it flopped. Lost a bunch of bread, lost a bunch of everything. Failure fuck with me, but I need it though, because failure let me know, nigga, you ain't got it all, nigga. You ain't where you supposed to be at. You ain't got all the answers. You ain't as smart as you think you are. Keep pushing, nigga. Get off your motherfucking ass, nigga, and make that shit happen. Nigga, fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. So would you agree with the quote that goes, if you're not failing, you're not trying?
Nah, I don't agree with that shit.
You don't agree with that?
Nah, because some niggas got it together. I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
Take a silver spoon fed kid from like, from a privileged situation. And everything he come up with succeeds. He may just be that good. It's some niggas who that good. And not even just being that good, it's some niggas who got the resources. Like say he got his dad got bread. His dad friend got bread. Like everything that this nigga ever decided to do succeeded. He's still trying. You feel what I'm saying? But he in a position I ain't. He got the resources that I don't got. And all this shit working. So if you ain't failing, you ain't trying. No. Depending on it, that shit circumstantial in a motherfucker. Because some niggas who don't try succeed. Like, nah, fuck all that.
Okay. Man, great perspective, bro. Great perspective. What advice would you give people, aspiring entrepreneurs or aspiring influencers? Like, what advice would you give them? 3 tips or 5 tips that you feel like work the best for you? That's like,
On some content creating shit?
yeah.
3 pieces of advice I would say. The first thing I would say as a person that giving advice to a content creator is understand you have a fucking smartphone. This motherfucker is a smartphone. It's smart as shit. Smarter than you, nigga. Like, nigga, we got access to an astronomical amount of information.
Facts.
If you don't pick that phone up and ask that fucking phone some questions, you just a dumb nigga. Don't be a dumb nigga. Ask that motherfucker. Google that shit. YouTube it. Siri. Ask the phone a question that you ain't got a nigga who can answer that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Facts.
Like, you have to be inquisitive. If you ain't inquisitive, you're gonna lose. Because you don't know it all. But I'm a nigga who went from nobody to somebody. I'm somebody. I'm a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
What are the other tips you would give?
Be inquisitive. Don't be afraid to get outside of your box.
Okay.
Like, if you set and doing a certain type of content, don't be afraid to get outside of it. Like, collaborations is everything. I ain't gonna lie, some of my biggest videos was collaborating with motherfuckers, whether it be my homie Monty, whether it be, Carbe, me and her just put some shit together.
Shout out to Carbe.
Shout out to Carbe. This shit right here going viral. I'm gonna make sure it do. You know what I'm saying? Me and you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be able to get outside of your box, because you may be holding yourself back. You know what I'm saying? Like, always take advice. I don't give a fuck if this shit ain't even beneficial to you. Listen. Like, if a motherfucker tell you something and you ain't even rocking with it, like, he ain't talking about shit. Keep that shit, man. Write that shit down. Keep it. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Never close yourself off to anything. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't cross over the deep end. Don't
right.
There's always limits to everything, but always be open to what people tell you.
Right.
And third thing, put your all into that shit. I'm a victim of not putting my all into everything. I'll put a little bit into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might work. Fuck it. See what happens. Nah, bro, dive. Like Kevin Gates say, bro, I'm going to dive. You know what I'm saying? Get on Gates. Bro, dive, bro. You got to put your all into that. If you believe in you, bro, dive. If you ain't diving, you don't really believe in you. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. They lying. Fuck them.
Man. Well, look, bro, we really appreciate you coming through for this first installment, this first interview for Black Blood Voices. We know we're going to bring you back, and we're going to have, because we got so much to talk about. But is there anything that you got coming up, or anything that you want people to keep a lookout for within the next year, 6 months? What's next? What's next for DRON Alexander? Like, what's going on next? What's happening?
2 things. It's a hell of a thing dealing with me. One, my book that's coming out. My book called The Hidden Key by DRON Alexander. I talk about an orphan kid who found out he's a descendant of the ancient Anunnaki. It's a hell of a book. I'm going to check that out. And 2, I'm putting together a film studio. Like, I got some people behind me. They got a bankroll, but even if they didn't, I know how to sell fit. I'm just fucking. But even if they didn't, I got my own bankroll. Like, that shit happening sometime this year. Whether it be next month or the month after, I'm putting together a film studio for content creators to come and create content. Basically what it is. But my book,
and that's needed in Nashville.
That's
very needed in Nashville.
But what's crazy though, when I did my research on it, there's actually spots for that in Nashville. It's not where I wanted to take it to, but it ain't obsolete. Like, it ain't just not there. There's some spots, but it ain't obviously ain't our demographic. Obviously, the prices. It's a lot of shit involved in it, but it ain't just not there. You feel what I'm saying? But I wanna make it readily available to everybody. You feel what I'm saying? So a film studio I'm putting together, my book releasing, and me personally, is 2 things that I want to do personally. When you look at fatherhood, and you just break down the dynamics of it, I'm a hell of a father because I'm there. I'm involved at custody of my kids. I do my shit and all that, but I ain't as good as a father as I want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's goals that I have for my kids that I haven't particularly done just yet that I want to. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, one, I want to be a better father. And I'm a hell of a father. Better than your baby daddy. Fuck what you say. Fuck you. But better than your baby daddy. But I'm a hell of a father. But I want to be a better father. And two, before 2024 is out, and this is gonna sound like some funny shit, and it kind of is, I want to compete in a fucking bodybuilding competition. Bitch, I'm blocked up. I lift weights when this motherfucker. I'm down 50 pounds, not fucking pump iron, goddamn it. So yeah, I want to lift weights around this motherfucker, and I want to compete like legitimately in a bodybuilding, whether it's amateur, professional, whatever. I want to compete before 2024 is out. I'm jumping on the stage. I'm gonna let some chick oil me down with fucking baby oil, and my fucking chest gonna pop out. I'm gonna have a 6-pack, and I'm gonna take these fucking chains off, and all this shit's real, bitch. I just got money, and I'm getting in a motherfucking bodybuilding competition before 2024 is out, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that part. Man, we appreciate you coming on the show, big bro. Man, everybody stay tuned to DRON ALEXANDER. Go follow him now. And until next time, man, peace and light, family. Wagwan family. Support for Black Blood Voices comes from Nashville nonprofit radio station WXNA. It shows soul of the city, where Erica spins local and national soul and hip hop whenever she feels like throwing it at you. Every Thursday at 5 p.m. Only on WXNA 101.5 FM and streaming at WXNAfm.org. Give thanks for support of Black Blood Voices.